The traditional articulation approach was developed in the early 1900s by some of the earliest professionals in the field. Charles Van Riper established the specifics of the approach in the 1930s. The approach has 4 progressions throughout the course of therapy. It begins with the child's ability to discriminate the sound and then moves to the child's ability to produce that sound. Next, the child must generalize the sound to context with increasing complexity until the sound is maintained throughout conversational speech.
The traditional articulation approach is best for school-age children with specific articulation deficits, but can be modified to meet the needs of clients of all ages and severity levels. This approach is also used with children with hearing loss, developmental delays, syndromes, and those who have structural anomalies such as cleft lip, palate, and ankyloglossia. The traditional articulation approach does not require a high level of cognitive ability, so it is beneficial for children with cognitive deficits.
Therapy follows a natural progression, beginning with the sound in isolation, moving to the sound at word level, then in phrases, sentences, and finally conversational speech. The client should produce the sound at each level with 90% accuracy for 3 consecutive sessions before moving to the next level.
Prior to treatment for articulation, the client should receive a hearing screening and an oral mechanism exam. The clinician should also obtain a conversational speech sample of at least 100 utterances. This can be used in conjunction with the results of a formal assessment, such as the Goldman-Bristow test of articulation, to determine the error sounds that will be targeted during therapy. Target sounds should be carefully selected and should encompass sounds that affect intelligibility and those that occur frequently in the child's speech. In addition, selecting sounds that should already be developmentally established should be of primary focus for our therapy.
After selecting targets, baseline data can then be collected on these sounds to determine on what level therapy should begin. The clinician can use picture cards to elicit responses to collect baseline data. At least 10 trials should be provided for accurate data analysis.
The traditional articulation approach hinges upon a naturally progressing hierarchy, indicating the necessity of accurate and consistent recording of data. In order to progress to the next level of therapy, the clinician should be able to show that the client has obtained at least 90% accuracy across 3 consecutive sessions for the current level. A plus or minus indicating the accuracy of the initial response of every opportunity presented to the client should be recorded.
During the early phases of treatment and after moving to a new level, all production should coincide with immediate and specific verbal reinforcement from the clinician. The clinician can reduce the frequency of verbal reinforcement as the child progresses through each level. In addition, visual reinforcements can be beneficial throughout the course of therapy. To assure that the young client remains engaged throughout the therapy session, the clinician should incorporate games into each target activity while still providing maximal opportunities for production.
Isolation level requires the clinician to help the client understand the features of the target sound. This can be achieved using visual cues and/or tactile cues to assist in the client's understanding of correct production. A cue card is used in this example for a visual cue.
All right, let's look at our mirror because I see your tongue coming out. So remember the steps. Smile, teeth together, put your tongue in the spot, and blow skinny air. You can hold your finger up. You should be able to feel the air coming out. There you go. Good job.
At the next level, the child begins to use the target sound in different positions of syllables. The focus of this example is S in the initial position of syllables with CV structure.
So now we're moving into syllables. So they're not complete words, but they're kind of funny because it's not a true word. Okay, so we're starting with say. So we're going to say the word 5 times and then you get a turn. Let's remember our steps for it. We have to smile and keep our teeth together, tongue in the T spot, and blow skinny air. And you can look in the mirrors to make sure your tongue stays in. So let's try it again.
Say, 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 say.
Okay, that was better. There were still a couple times that I saw your tongue come out, but you can go ahead and take your turn.
During word level, the child practices the target sound in meaningful units. At the beginning of this level, target words are selected that are meaningful for the child. Words should be found in the child's immediate environment. After these are mastered, the clinician can add additional target words.
So now I have hidden some words that start with S. Can you find them? Skinny air.
Sun.
Very good. Okay.
Sun. 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 Sun.
Awesome job.
In phrase level, instruction shifts to the client using the target sound in phrases containing 2 to 4 words. This provides the child with a smooth transition from using the sound in words to the more complex task of using the target sound in sentences.
So last session we were working on S and words, and now we've moved to S and phrases. So pick one out of the bowl.
Bottom of the C.
Awesome job. I saw your tongue and teeth spot, and you blew skinny air out of it. So
Sentence level brings the client one step closer to generalizing the sound into conversational speech. When choosing target sentences, the clinician should begin with simple sentences that contain one instance of the target sound. Towards the end of this level, the client may be able to accurately produce sentences containing the target sound multiple times.
Okay, so since we've moved on from phrases, we're moving to sentences now. So here's the first part of a sentence, and you're going to use your words to fill in the rest of the sentence.
Okay. Luke saw a sink.
Very good. And the next one?
Luke saw a sock.
The final level of the traditional articulation approach is correct pronunciation of the target sound in conversational speech. To elicit conversation, the clinician can ask the client open-ended questions.